We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy Show. It is Thursday morning. My name is Hassani.
I'm Lakeisha.
I'm Roland.
And I'm Roderick.
We got the team. We are the Avengers. We have come to save the day. So we want to know whatever your situation is. We want to be able to speak to it and empower you so that you can take your life and your relationship to the next level. This is the place where people from all over the globe hang out to talk about love, life, and relationships. And so today we're continuing our topic from yesterday. Boy, was it a hot one. I cheated on my partner, part 2. Why I did it. There had to be a reason. There had to be a cause. And we began to unpack what those reasons were. So we're going to continue in that conversation today. But before we get started, quick announcement. As you know, November the 11th through the 13th and December the 9th through the 11th is the last chance weekend. You do not want to miss it. Listen, couples are coming because they're in a valley of indecision. Do I stay? Do I go? Do I want this for the rest of my life? Or do I want something new, fresh, and different? And so this is the place where you meet that reality to find out what path to choose. This is the place where relationships are restored, and we're excited about it. So if you haven't signed up, if you haven't registered, make sure you go ahead and do that. Let me just give you a quick little snippet because there are new viewers who are now chiming in. A quick little snippet of what the Last Chance Weekend is, what it's all about, and then we'll get into today's topic. So stay right there. That's right. That's the Last Chance Weekend, and you have another chance to get involved. Doesn't that look like an incredible event? We're excited because it allows all of the practitioners from all over the country to fly in, and we come together like Voltron to do the necessary work to save and restore relationships. So just reach out to us, set up a discovery call. Let's talk about your options and what we can do to be a part of your marriage story. Guys, let's dive into today's topic. We're talking about, listen, at the end of the day, this is probably one of the things that people struggle with most. Why did he do it? Why did she do it? Why would they throw everything away for such a strange relationship that meant nothing, supposedly? There are reasons to everything. I was talking to someone that I'm training overseas, and so we were going through some of the reasons why people cheat. And so she was just like, isn't that just an excuse? I said, well, it's a reason. It's not a justifiable reason, but there are reasons for everything. The reasons aren't necessarily good reasons, but they're reasons. And I said, we have to remove the moral cap for just a second, because at the end of the day, it's all sin. It's all wrong. It's all against the word of God. It all works against what a relationship is all about. So we remove that element for just a second. And if we're truly seeking to understand what was in the heart and the mind of the person who would go down such a path, well, Well, these reasons will help you understand that. And it's not about agreeing with it. It's about seeking understanding so you could properly deal with it, begin to heal, and move forward. So yesterday we covered just two because the chat was blowing up, and we expect no different today. So we're going to dive right in, and I'm going to allow these experts, these brilliant minds, to weigh in on the topic. So today, why I cheated on my partner, we're going to number 3, and here it is. I wasn't getting my needs met in the marriage, right? This is something we constantly hear from people. And because of this marital void, this deficit that they feel, they venture off or stumble into an affair. Lakeisha, start us off. Talk to me about this reason as to why someone would cheat.
I mean, there's never a legitimate reason to cheat, but this one makes sense. It's something you can put your finger on. It's something that they can give to their partner bullet points to say that I didn't get this or I didn't get that. They can be detailed and specific about what those needs were. But the challenge always is that instead of turning in toward your spouse to discuss it, talk about it, work through it, bring in an additional person, party, practitioner, therapist, whatever, to assist, they turn outward. And we do that many times, not just as it pertains to relationship issues, but we frequently turn outward to try to resolve our issues. Even when you call your friend to talk about a situation that happened, between you and your spouse, that's still turning outward instead of turning inward. So we really have to get to a place where, we have open, honest communication. We've been talking about those crucial conversations and those courageous conversations and critical conversations that many of us do avoid because we don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. But you definitely have to make sure that you're communicating what it is that you want and need, because you can't hold someone accountable to something that they never knew was an expectation.
That's a good point. A lot of times in the counseling process, a spouse is just like, well, you never told me. I never knew. Why didn't you ever tell me? Right. Because some people do have a problem communicating. But Roderick and Roland, I want you to weigh in and talk to us about what some of these needs are. Like, let's get down to brass task here. What are the needs that people have that they're not getting that causes them to step out?
Roland, you want? Well, couple of things that I would bring up. Some of the needs is that freedom or that ability to just be themselves. So many times we go into marriage or with our spouse, and we have to, again, put on this facade. We have to be this person that we think our spouse needs us to be, instead of just being genuine, being vulnerable, and sharing with our spouses who we should be able to share anything with, but we hide from them the most. We should be able to share with our spouse, this is how I'm feeling, or this is who I really am. And because we can't do that, or we feel like we can't do that, that is a need or a fear of us being our genuine selves that we seek outside, or we call friends up and be our genuine self, or we get that need met outside versus, again, giving our spouse that opportunity.
And the fact of the matter is, like to Hassani's point, our needs are not met because we're not saying what our needs are. And the other side of that is the fact that we so often want our spouses to be something that they're not, or to be someone else. And what happens is that creates this atmosphere of wanting something or a need being met that they cannot fulfill because that's not who they are. And so the downside to that is understanding, one, who your wife is, who your husband is, and explore them, acknowledge them, right? Get to know them, so that way you know what needs need to be met. Otherwise, we have this justification as to my needs not being met because we're not entertaining one another, we're not communicating with one another, and we're definitely not saying what our needs are. And so we have to stay away from looking outside and go back inward and looking at our spouses.
But I've been married.
Sometimes the needs are not right. Sometimes the needs are not right. Right? They are completely wrong with your needs, and it's not even a realistic expectation for your spouse, like you're saying, Roland. But sometimes we really got to look at our needs and say, is this even in alignment with what the word of God says in terms of what I'm saying that I need from my spouse?
But my marriage is a desert. I've been complaining for the last 3 years about the fact that you work so many hours and don't spend any time with me. You know, every time there's an opportunity to go out on a date, you rather go to work, or you rather be with friends, or you rather be caught up in something else. You haven't invested time. I'm lonely. I'm struggling over here. I've been asking for sex. You haven't given it to me. It seems like when we first got married, it was all day, every day, 2, 3, 4 times a day. And now it's once every other month. And I have a sexual desire that's not being filled. We don't talk anymore. Everything is surface. Everything is cliche. When I want to get into an in-depth conversation, you don't want to be bothered. You shut down. You go another way. I have a need for connection. I'm not getting that. I have a need for financial stability. We're broke, busted, and disgusted. Don't have a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of. From 1 month to the next month, we're fighting over what bill is going to be paid. I have a need for that. You won't help me with the children. I'm all by myself. I'm struggling. I feel like you're also a dependent. I have a need for somebody to be a leader in my life, or to come along me and partner with me in this thing, in this journey of life. I have needs, legitimate needs, and I've been arguing and I've been fussing and I've been fighting and I've been complaining, and you won't give me the time of day. But when I go to work, Larry knows how to speak to me. I got a compliment for the first time in 3 months. I don't feel sexy with you. I don't feel attractive with you. But then some stranger can approach me, and all of a sudden it reminds me of who I felt I used to be. Like, these legitimate needs. Because when we signed up and we got married, all these things were happening. You would woo me. I would romance you. We had nothing but connection and love and passion. And then something shifted and it all went away. Yes, I've told you about my needs. Yes, I have a desire for certain things that are normal and healthy for any relationship. And because these needs have not been met after constant attempts, I didn't know what else to do. I was desperate. I was longing. And I found myself in a vulnerable situation. And now I'm in a full-blown affair. Is that not real?
Hassani, Sean said it's real. Sean said, good morning. My husband told me constantly for years how he felt in our marriage, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I didn't listen. I just never thought he would stray. And I just think that's such a powerful comment and just honesty, right? A full transparent moment where she's saying he was talking and I just wasn't listening. And that does happen.
And that's the question. Here's the question that I have. What is happening inside of the mind and inside of the heart of the person who's not listening? Why do they not listen? Why do they not tune in? Why do they not course correct? Why do they not make shifts and do what's necessary to get in alignment with their spouse? That's a legitimate question. Thank you for even bringing that up, Sean. I would love to hear from the chat what's going on. I mean, what have you guys observed in your sessions? Because at the end of the day, yes, I'm responsible for what I did 100%. I did not have to make that decision. But listen, I wasn't on an island all by myself. There were contributing factors. We were, starting a series a couple weeks ago about how what impact a sexless marriage has on a marriage, right? How it leads to infidelity. And yes, we can come up with 1,001 legitimate reasons why there's a reduction in desire for sex. But what is the impact? Is that not a need? So let's have this conversation. What's going on in the betrayed spouse's heart and mind before the betrayal happens that causes them not to link in with their partner the way they once had?
I can tell you, because I was that one who didn't listen, and it really wasn't intentional in the beginning. In the beginning, it was my needs were not being met. So then we get into this tug of war of, well, when you do this, I'll do that. When you show up, then I'll show up. When you change, I'll change. And nobody wins. So the reality is this, unfortunately, like I said, it wasn't intentional in the beginning, but it became a routine. It became my norm. It became natural for me not to respond, for me not to course correct, because it had been going on for so long. And I just believe that God will just jolt you and force you to have to make a decision. You're either going to continue in this way, which is completely out of alignment with what I told you to do, or you're going to make a change and you're going to make an adjustment and you're going to shift and change and do what you need to do.
You know what, Lakeisha? I think you're spot on, because I mean, shoot, I think that's the story of most of us. That was a story in our relationship. My needs weren't getting met because she felt I wasn't meeting her needs. I think many of the couples struggle with the same thing. Many people come into marriage expecting to be loved, expecting to be served, expecting to be accommodated, and not coming in with a mindset that says, I'm here to love, I'm here to serve, I'm here to accommodate. And so if you have two people waiting to receive, and that's the position that they're in, then nobody's getting anything. But when you're both in a position to give, don't you both receive? So I think you hit that spot on. There's a couple comments in here. We're going to go to Deborah. She says, because in their mind, they think and feel they're doing everything a spouse or partner should be doing, sex and all. Maybe he isn't meeting her needs after she has expressed them. And that's a fact. Now, we're assuming that the cheater is the man. The cheater can be the woman as well. So it works on both ways. Then we have Christina, who says, in my marriage, we got comfortable and took each other for granted. He stayed physically and I strayed. I'm sorry. I guess he strayed, or maybe he stayed. I don't know. Stayed physically, and I strayed emotionally. It took a lot of work to get our marriage back on track. We listen and check in now. See, sometimes the affair is a wake-up call. You know, crisis sometimes wakes you up to the reality of what was going on or going wrong in the first place. Roderick, step on in.
No, that's absolutely true, Hassani. Sometimes a good jolt is what a person needs. I think in some cases there are situations where there is a lack of communication. So the partners do not know what one another needs are, or complacency sets in and you get used to a routine and you get used to a certain result happening from that routine, and you cease to grow, or at least one spouse may cease to grow and the other spouse may continue to grow. And then there becomes a disconnect. So that one spouse that ceases to grow believes they're doing everything they're supposed to do, meeting the needs, but the one that is continuing to grow now has new needs, is a new person, a new creature, and thus there we have it. The needs are not being met, and they're not telling the other spouse, hey, this is my, I know when we were first married, that was okay. This was okay. We did this, we did that. But now we've been married 5 years and we're no longer that same couple. We've grown and I have new needs that we need to talk about.
And that's a good point. There are new needs. Listen, we've been married for 20 years. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary last week. Danielle's not the same person, and I'm not the same person that we were 20 years ago, right? So to your point, you need to have conversations. So what are you looking for in this season of our life together? Because it's going to be completely different. And sometimes we get stuck in the past in wanting things the way they've always been, and it simply doesn't work that way. Clancy, my brother from Australia, great to see you ride and rolling, involved in the videos. Heaps of wisdom. Great to hear those voices again. That's why they're on this show, because of the brilliance that they offer. April says, my husband cheated 2 years into our marriage, found out 3 years ago, been married almost 10 years. My question is, my husband cheated when we went through a very tragic situation in our life. So he went and cheated instead of him being there for me like I was there for him. How do you get over that? Let me just quickly say, there are risk factors, and we've done a few shows on this, risk factors that lead to an affair. Interestingly enough, when a person experiences tragedy and goes through loss, often, and they're grieving, unfortunately, during that phase, that is when you would think that a couple would come together and be there for each other, cry with each other, support each other. But a lot of times we handle tragedy differently, and we may venture off because we feel like we can't be all of ourselves to our spouse. Like if I'm the man, some men may think this way. I'm the man. I'm masculine. I'm hard. I'm tough. I can't show my vulnerability. I can't show my weaknesses and my fears. So I don't open up to you, but I open up to Susie. And so as a result of that emotional connection that I have with her, it leads into sexual excursions. That happens. Roland, I want you to weigh in on this. How does she get over something like this?
Well, it is going to take a little time, but it goes back to having those hard conversations. And a lot of times, back to the point, we take each other for granted. And when you take each other for granted because we've been together for so long, right, that safe space does now becomes unsafe, or we think that it's unsafe. And what happens is tragedy happens, and then we find ourselves drifting away from the safest place that we supposed to be in, which is our marriage, which is our spouse. And so too oftentimes we look outside of our home to get the very thing that we need, which is in our home. And so getting over this is going to be having that courageous conversation, going back to that safe space with one another and reassuring one another that the security of the love is within the two of you. Because otherwise, we're going to just keep finding ourselves drifting away further and further away because we feel like we can't have that space with one another.
Wow, powerful, powerful point. Lakeisha, Tiffany says, man, I stopped doing things because he stopped meeting my needs. God told me I stopped showing up because I felt he forgot about me. Our communication was out of order. And so that speaks to exactly what you said. And I think everybody could resonate with that. But I'm going to go to one more comment before we take a quick break. Where was it? Oh, no. Where? Oh, no, Sean, I think it was Sean. She said, honestly, had this not happened, we would have not lasted this long. Hard to admit, but true. Now, that is a pill for you. Did you hear what she just said? Yep. She said, if the affair had not lasted, we would not be together this long. Now, I want everybody to speak into that on the other side of this break, because as we have said, there is a gift in crisis if you know what to do with it. So, Sean, what a bold statement. I know you are pissing people off right now, but you know what? Speaking truth to power is awesome. Listen, guys, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We'll be right back after this quick break. When 45 men from all walks of life come together in one place for one purpose, there is a collective harmony that produces an amplification of power that leaves an impact on the lives of men that cannot be erased. A fraternity of legendary men, all at the tipping point, on the precipice of greatness, meeting for one weekend to turn their worlds inside out. For the first time ever, the Foundry experience. Not an event, not a seminar or retreat, but an opportunity to come face to face with the man you were always destined to be. If you want a life that's better than the one that you are living, meet us January 2023 for the Foundry Experience.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Hey guys, we're back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. You just saw an announcement about the Foundry experience, which is going to be an incredible, incredible opportunity for men to come face to face with who they were created to be. It's going to be an amazing experience. Roland, you've been involved in this process. How many slots do we have left?
Man, we're down to about 7 slots left, and they are going fast. I mean, they are selling out and going fast. I mean, the calls are still coming in, and we still have some pending reservations due to come in. So they are going fast. I would encourage any man that's looking for an opportunity to be a better version, tap into a better version, to meet other men, bond with other men, to call in and register now.
3 words every man needs to say. I'm glad. No, actually 4 words. I'm glad I did, as opposed to I wish I had. Right? 4 words, not 3 words, 4 words. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I signed up. I'm glad I went. Rather, man, I wish I had. So don't make that mistake. Listen, I want to go back to this very, very controversial statement that Sean made. Thank you for your honesty. She said, once again, honestly, had this not happened, meaning the affair, we would have not lasted this long. Hard to admit, but true. Who can weigh in on that? I want to hear what people have to say about this.
I can weigh in on that for sure. My wife and I, she used to always tell me she felt like the bottom was going to fall out, and the bottom actually fell out for us. And had it not been for the bottom falling out and us reaching out and associating with Couples Academy, I would not be speaking to you right now, right? So many times things happen that we don't understand why they happen. We don't even see the effect that it has. But the blessing in it is that God knows what He's doing. We ask Him to order our steps, right? And ordering our steps may take us down a path we had no idea we would go, only to bring us to the blessing that He has for us all along. And so, we got so much out of this experience thus far, and it really is a life-changing experience for sure. So, yes, had some things not happened in our lives, we would not be where we are today.
For sure, I 100% agree, and I know that was very difficult to say, to admit, to feel. To come to that level of understanding, Sean, that just shows how much you've grown. And I think that's a testament to you and your work that you're doing, which is amazing. But absolutely 100%. I mean, I can testify as well. We would not have the marriage that we have right now. I think about how it was pre and post, and I would never go back to pre. Pre sucked. You thought pre was okay. Like, okay, we're doing all right. This is good. But this post, man, this post is on a whole nother level. I mean, in every way, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and of course, physically. So I'm saying, for those of you who have not had an affair or experienced infidelity, like, I don't recommend it. Yeah. Do what you need to do before you get there.
Amen.
So you don't even have to worry about recovery and all of those things. So let us help you on the front end so that it's not so devastating to have to deal with the back end.
It's definitely not something that I would recommend anybody experience. But there's good that come out of everything. I mean, if you have not experienced infidelity, which again, I wish that upon nobody, we've all either experienced or known somebody that's worked on a job and loved it, enjoyed going to work every day, and then all of a sudden they got fired. They lost their job for no reason that they did. They showed up every day, they was productive, and lost their job. And the devastation from that small event, I'm gonna call it small compared to infidelity, God opened up another door, and they got another job that was even better. That's the positives that can come from an infidelity experience. Again, not that I wish it on anybody, but there's good at the end of the tunnel.
Roger, great point. There's a life on the other side of the affair, and you have a choice in determining what that life will be like. we talk about the marital patterns of the sufferer versus the builder versus the explorer. And what you're witnessing here in real time are individuals that you're looking at in your screen who've made the decision that they were going to become explorers and they were going to do something different. And you have the opportunity to do that as well. But it doesn't come without a process. It doesn't come without doing the work. You can't wake up one day and voila, we're here. It requires you putting in time, energy, effort, and money to do what's necessary to bring about transformation for your life and for your marriage. And that's why we do the Couples Academy show. That's why we have these last chance weekends, private marriage intensive. That's why we have an amazing cast of practitioners all over the country who can serve you and help meet your needs and get you back in a good space with your spouse. So thank you for tuning in today. I can't believe we only covered one point. I guess we got to continue. We may have a part 5, part 6, part 10 to this because it's so rich, because we're getting down to the brass tacks of why these things happen. I hope we're able to serve you with a spirit of excellence. We're going to sign off for today, but tomorrow we will be back, not for part 3, but for Q&A. It is Ask the Experts. I love that day. That's the day of the week that I look forward to, because we all get a chance to dig in deep and answer these questions and give you these breakthroughs. And so listen, tune in tomorrow, 9:30 for another great episode. Love you guys. See you in the AM. Take care.